it's okay to record you. Okay.
Can I, yeah, and can I ask what you're using the recording for though, also?
Well, it's for our members to see the interview since they, everybody can't be here. So
Okay.
it's for our membership. Heather, I'm Laura Portorreal-Allen. I'm the chair of the PAC, of the Political Action Committee for OCEA. Janet?
I am Janet Moody. I teach 3rd grade at Narcoossee Elementary School, and I am on the bargaining leadership team for the instructional staff in the school district.
Alicia?
My name's Felicia Smith. I am guidance secretary at Celebration High School, and I'm part of the PAC committee.
Emily?
Hi, I'm Emily Grintz. I'm the East Side Elementary representative for OCEA.
Last but not least.
I'm Amanda Jacobs. I'm also from Celebration High School, and I'm on the PAC committee.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for letting me know who was here.
Okay, and thank you again for taking this meeting so late, and I know that you have something that you're working on, so we really do appreciate that. Do you have something that you want to say before we actually get started with some questions?
Sure. I mean, I don't know, if there's anything any of you know about me, but I am a born and raised Osceola County, went to school, kindergarten up, graduated from OHS in 2003. I got my degree in teaching elementary ed from the University of South Florida, and then came back and taught at Pleasant Hill Elementary for almost 10 years. Taught everything from kindergarten through 4th grade with the exception of 3rd grade. My favorite grades to teach were 4th grade and 2nd grade though. I left teaching when a friend had a opportunity arise for me in about, I think it was 2014-15. So I worked for her doing marketing in Osceola. And then 3 years after that, I joined the school district again on the community relations side, and I ran the social media and marketing for the district for 4 years, and just left about a year and a half ago to start my own business. And that is when I decided to throw my hat in the ring for school board, because I had heard Clarence Thacker wasn't going to run again, and I live in District 4, and felt like it was the best way to continue serving my community, staying connected to education. I have 3 kids in our schools. All of them attend Horizon Middle School right now, with one heading off to Neo City in the fall. So that's a quick, brief overview of me.
Okay, well, thank you very much. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with a simple question. Okay, and I kind of think you might answer this a certain way, but we'll go ahead and ask it. Should it be a part of a school board member's job description to sub in a classroom, and how often?
I mean, I think at this point in time, with the shortage of staff across the district, if a school board member has the time available to do something like that, then I definitely welcome it as something. However, I would definitely want to make sure, just like any person that we are putting in our schools to be with our students, that they have the right desire to be there and whatnot. I wouldn't want to require it and it'd be something that someone didn't enjoy doing or want to do. I subbed personally while I was going to school because I thought, what's the best way to make a little money when I was in college, but be a substitute, because that's the career I'm going into. I would love for all of our substitute teachers to have some kind of education background or focus or whatnot, because that's how we know we have quality people in our classes taking care of our kids when their actual teachers can't be there.
Emily.
You're breaking up a little. I hope I'm not in a bad spot.
No, you're good. Sorry. That was me
No,
trying to
okay,
find
I
my
can hear you
question.
That's
Um,
okay.
Our next question is related to standardized testing. Do you think that standardized tests should be connected to teacher salary? And if so, how should they be used? Or if not, or if so, how should they be used?
You know, that one's a really hard question because while, you know, it sounds great that, you know, if you're a really good teacher doing a really good job, you're going to have really great test scores, but that's not always the case. You know, every class that you have is going to have a multitude of students with varying exceptionalities and whatnot. And while you, you know, you hope for the best that you're going to make a difference in your kids, you know, degree of learning from the start of the school year to the end. You know, I mean, I think if we are to tie standardized testing to students' performance, that it needs to definitely always be on growth. You know, not maybe just a certain score. You know, I have 3 kids that I mentioned before, and you know, they all work on various levels. I have twin girls, and one is labeled gifted, and one has a learning disability. You know, so they both work very differently. And while, you know, I look at one and I say, okay, well, you know, a C's not great on your report card. The other one, a C, we like, you know, rally behind and are excited for. But growth is really what, you know, we want to see from all of them, and the best work. So, you know, for teacher salaries, you know, as a teacher, you want the best performing, you know, people, or I mean, I guess as a school district or as a parent or things like that, you want people performing to their best. So if we were to tie, you know, continue to tie things like that, I would say over growth, you know, pushing always for student growth, versus saying, you know, it has to be this exact score or whatnot.
Thank you.
I think, Amanda, was it you that asked the next question in the last one? Okay, Felicia, can you ask the next question?
About school boards attending.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Heather. And I wanted to also bring to your attention, I'm the only ESP in the PAC committee questioning committee. And
Okay.
do you know what an ESP is?
Yes.
Okay, good. So the question is,
Well, that's, you know, learning disabled. So she's on an IEP and 504 and all of that. So yes.
no, that is not it. Educational support professional. That means I do
Oh.
not,
Sorry, I thought you said ESE.
I said ESP, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just didn't hear ESP. Yes, I know what ESP is. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Should school board members attend expulsion hearings of students?
I mean, I know they currently attend them, and I guess I've never really put any thought into the reasoning for that, or whether they should or shouldn't. I mean, I feel like someone like myself who has an education background, who's been in the classroom, who knows what it's like, might have a different perspective than certain board members who have never sat in a classroom or taught in a classroom or whatnot. Yeah, I mean, sat in a classroom, yes, but taught in a classroom. So I honestly, I'm not really sure. Like I said, I haven't really ever put a lot of thought into the fact that they do serve on the expulsion, you know, are at the expulsion hearings and make decisions during that process.
Thank you.
Okay, so Amanda, do you want to ask the next question?
Sure. I think, because I think it's the CRT question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you believe that CRT or critical race theory is being taught in our schools in Osceola County?
I do not. As a teacher, like I said, I tell people all the time that when I was teaching first grade, fourth grade, second grade, you know, I was doing everything I needed to do to just make sure we were hitting our standards. We were, kindergartners sitting crisscross applesauce and keeping those shoes tied and things like that. I know our district follows the curriculum guidelines that are put in place by the state. And as long as we're doing that, I think we're doing whatever we need to stay on track with the age appropriate, also, topic appropriate curriculum for our students. Could there be one-off instances where there are, I don't think any of these discussions are being had at an elementary level or things like that, but could they happen as kids get older and they have questions related to what they're seeing and hearing in the news and things like that? And could a topic go off sometimes from where, you intend it to be as a teacher? Sure. And, there might be one-off instances that, would maybe need to be looked into or whatnot, but I personally don't think critical race theory is in our schools.
Any follow-ups for that? Nope. Good. All right. Okay, so Felicia, can you ask the next question? Are you there? Whoever is available, could you ask the next question?
So I'm going to ask the question. Can you elaborate for us on what a teacher should do when there is a student altercation? It may not be very prevalent in, say, elementary schools, but in middle schools and high schools, definitely there are a lot of altercations, and teachers sometimes have to get involved. What is your, elaborate on what you think teachers should do in that case?
Yeah, so I think the number one thing that needs to happen to start is obviously calling for whatever kind of backup that you can get from administration, from school resource officer, from whoever, is on campus to help in those situations. After that, I think you have to do your best to ensure that, the students involved, that anyone that's there is kept as safe as possible. If there's a single student or maybe a couple students that are getting into a fight or whatnot, it's hard. I know you can't put your hands on students. And I feel for, those of you that are in that situation where, that you feel like you have to get in there and get between students to get them to stop if they're fighting or whatnot. And, that's a really tough one. So it's hard to really say what exactly is the right answer there, other than making sure you're calling for backup, you're keeping whatever students around are as safe as possible, keeping your eye on what's happening, and trying to calm down whatever is happening in that moment.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, so Emily, can you ask the next one?
Absolutely. Okay, so our next one is, what does the parent-teacher relationship look like to you?
So in an ideal world, the parent-teacher relationship would be one where, there's good communication flowing both ways. If teacher needs parent for any certain reason, they're able to get them easily, communicate with them in whatever way is easiest for both, and vice versa. If parent needs teacher for some reason, the same thing is happening. Again, in an ideal world, you would want that parent support for the things that are taking place in your classroom, whether they be just the, everyday run of the mill, this is what we're doing, this is what we need from you type of thing, or if it does involve a student that needs some extra supports, whether it be academically or emotionally or socially, that you're getting that support from the parents as well. in order to make sure that child is having a successful school year, and anyone else that might be involved with them is having a successful school year.
Okay, thank you. All right, so our next question is your thoughts on charter and private schools receiving public funds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a public school proponent. I went to public school. I taught in public school. My kids are in public schools. I want to keep as much money for public school as possible, because I think that's, you know, it's one of the foundations of our government. And while there might be certain charter schools out there that are run well, I'm not sure all of them are. You know, the fact that the district at least, you know, has an overview process and does their part in trying to, you know, ensure that we have good charter schools as options. I know at one time, the reason why we have so many are because we, you know, we needed those seats for students because we just didn't have the ability to house all of our students and whatnot. But you know, I think with the 0.5% sales tax and the fact that we've been able to build more schools and whatnot, you know, we can accommodate our students, and public education is where my, you know, heart falls. So.
Okay, Felicia, can you ask the next question? Superintendent one.
If she's asking it, I can't hear it.
Oh,
Felicia, you have to unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. I'm back.
Okay.
Should a superintendent get a raise when teachers and staff don't?
You know, so I think that we need to make sure that we're getting all of our employees paid, and that all staff are being supplemented correctly. So I would like to put our focus on our teachers and our staff and our administration and leadership after that.
So you realize that her raise, well, do you realize that she gets a bonus regardless of what everybody else gets?
I do, and I also know though, her job is a job I would never want. I would never want to be in charge of running a school district, running an entity the size of our school district, the amount of people, the budget. You know, I can't even imagine the work that is done at that level. But like I said, I would like to put teachers and staff first.
So it's okay that she gets a $20,000 bonus, and most of the ESPs don't make $20,000. They make $15,000 and under.
It definitely is frustrating. I can understand that. You know, one of the things I think is, I think the formula that we get from our state for you know, teacher and staff salary is definitely not something that's working in Osceola's favor. You know, we're still one of the lowest funded districts in our state. You know, so figuring out a way to fix the formula funding, I think, is definitely something we need to put our focus on and try at the state level.
Wow. Okay.
I just had a quick follow-up to that. So you said that hers is a job you would never want because it seems overwhelming to oversee the whole system. What is your interpretation, understanding of what a school board member's job would be?
So a school board member, I feel, you know, is one that is there to, yes, we make decisions on things as a board. So it's not one person that it falls on the shoulders of, and to guide and to I don't know, I'm coming up with I can't think of the right word that I'm trying to think of here, but you know, the school board hires the superintendent to run the day-to-day business, you know, so placing a superintendent that you trust and you feel is qualified to do those things is important because the board isn't there every day to make those decisions.
All right. Any follow-up to that? Oh, Emily, did you have a question?
Oh, no, that was from previously.
Oh,
So
okay.
I do have a follow-up question. I'm wondering, do you know how much money our superintendent makes? And I know you said that we were one of the lowest funded districts in the state. So do you know how much money our superintendent earns and where her salary ranks with other district superintendents?
I do not know that. The two numbers I know off the top of my head is that we are, I thought 64 or 63 out of 67 for funding in the state. And that we are actually the opposite when it comes to administrative costs. I do know that is that we are we spend the lowest money in administrative costs compared to other districts in the state. Those are the two facts I know, but as far as like exact salaries go, no.
So do you know how employees are classified, administrative and instructional?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Janet, can you ask the SRO?
Well, Janet lost the questions all of a sudden. When somebody sent her a message, her questions
Oh my
disappeared.
Lord. All right, I'll ask
that's
it.
what happened. Oh, wait. The SRO question? No, I don't know
Yeah.
that question.
Okay.
Sorry, Laura.
all
I'm
right,
looking for
so-
the questions.
All right.
I can ask.
You can, okay, go ahead, Felicia.
Okay, do you prefer having an SRO or a guardian program in the school system, and why?
I prefer SROs because I do not want the responsibility of protecting our students to fall on someone, you know, the guardian program having, you know, if it's teachers or other staff being trained, you know, I mean, training is great, but you know, you're not there to protect our students, especially with a weapon armed on your body. You're there to educate our students, and that's where I would like your focus to stay. I know there as a teacher, you know, myself, you know, going through those different trainings where, you know, it's the different drills and whatnot, like, you know, you're putting yourself out there, especially the things that we've seen, you know, happen over the years by being in a school with a child or with students, and the fact that we've had, you know, the school shootings and whatnot. So you're already putting yourself at risk, but doing it even more so as a guardian, you know, is not something I want. I want trained professionals who, you know, they do this for a living in our schools, keeping you safe and our students safe.
All right, thank you. How will you guarantee safety for minorities like Black and Brown and LGBTQ?
You know, I think showing that we support our students through just having, you know, whether it's different programs that make them feel seen and heard, having, you know, obviously in our schools, having staff that reflect the students that we have in our schools, you know, so when they're in their classes or they're walking around on campus, they see, you know, people that look like them and that they can relate to is important. you know, I support all of our students. I want all of our students to in our schools, you know, education, have good relationships with their friends and their teachers and their peers and whatnot.
Okay, Janet, I think you're up again unless someone has a follow-up.
No.
'cause-
Oh. Anybody have follow-up? Okay, so Heather, I don't know, your phone is kind of going in and out, so I don't know if you're like,
I'm sorry.
you're
I'm
physically
driving with my,
moving. Okay, that's what I was wondering, if
I'm
perhaps you,
driving. I'm sorry.
it's I understand. I do a lot of business on the phone too. I would like for you to describe what your knowledge of the school district's budget is.
You know, so I would say that is the one caveat of the, you know, running for this position that, you know, maybe intimidates me the most is the budget, learning what all that entails and you know, how to best appropriate funds. So, you know, my biggest thing is I feel like a school board especially needs to be comprised of a variety of people that can offer their, you know, what they are, you know, educated in, what they're experts on, what they have the most knowledge of. And for me, I feel like I offer my background as an educator, as a parent, in our school district. So the budget part is something that I feel like I will have to do a lot of homework on. Luckily, you know, from working on the community relations side of things, I did work at district office. So, you know, Sarah Graber, our CFO, is someone that I know from working at the district. And I've already even told her, you know, if I get this, I'm going to be in your office a lot, or, you know, on the phone with you a lot, so that I can understand and make sure that, you know, we are using our funds in the best way possible to benefit everyone.
I was going to ask you the follow-up of when you didn't know the answer to questions, how were you going to learn? Where were you going to get your answers at? And who do you see? Is it the job of the superintendent or the job of the school board to understand and know how the budget works and how that budget is to be used to run the school appropriately?
I think it's both. I think both the superintendent, the school board, and the different district administrators, all, you know, so more than both, I guess, it's anyone who's in a leadership role that is managing the funds needs to know how to best use those funds. You know, it's not just the superintendent and the school board that's making decisions on the fund. I mean, they're making the overall decisions, but just at every single leadership level, you know, school principals are making decisions on their budgets. You know, department staff, department administrators are making decisions on their budgets. So, you know, everyone needs to be knowledgeable in that.
Okay, thank you for that answer. I'm going to ask you another question, and I'm not sure that I caught when you said you had left the district, but you are probably familiar, if you're still tied closely to the district, of the year that the school district and the bargaining team, the OSHA team, OCEA team, went to impasse. And we had a magistrate come in and look at what the district was wanting to do and what the objections were on the part of the OCEA, and they had to look into the budget and everything. And the magistrate came back with indications that they thought that it was not unreasonable what OCEA was asking from the district, and that perhaps what the district was wanting to do as far as increase insurance premiums and things like that, that it was maybe not reasonable. And the school district voted to impose the contract. What are your feelings on that, on that particular situation, or if you were presented with one like that?
So, I mean, I think we hire people, or we bring in people that are going to be experts in their fields to help us make those decisions. So, with not being the person that had that presented to them and whatnot, I can't specifically say because I don't know the details, but, I would hope that I can look at what we're given and make a decision based off of what experts are telling me. I think back to the district handling COVID and whatnot, and listening to our healthcare professionals and making decisions that were, we were guided on, was important and something we did. So I would want to make my decisions based the same way on the rulings or the expert advice that I'm given.
So who would you consider the expert in that scenario?
Well, so I mean, a magistrate is someone who's coming in and looking at and giving you what they feel is best. Hello? Did I lose you?
Just for a brief second, we did not hear your full answer there.
I was just questioning. So you said a magistrate was brought in. Is that someone that is a, someone who oversees these types of things, budgets, and makes decisions on? Like, to me, is that a consultant that is brought in for this? That's what I was questioning.
A magistrate is like someone who, they're not a judge, but they are much like an arbitrator, where they cannot impose something, but they make recommendations. So they act as the go-between, and they're unbiased in what they do.
And as long as, like, I would suspect that do they have knowledge of budget and things like that? Then, so, I mean, if those people that are coming in to guide on that do, then, I would hopefully, like I'm saying, see what's presented and want to make a decision based off of whatever expert advice or ruling is given. But again, like I said, I can't say per se to that exact situation, since I, don't know the exact findings or whatnot in front of me. But I do know the district we hire consultants for things. We hire, we use experts in different areas to help guide us in things. So I would hope that that's what we're doing in all areas that we're making decisions on if needed, especially if they're outside of our.
Janet, did you mention that the vote happened, that the teachers voted for the contract that was trying to be negotiated to actually be to pass, and the magistrate agreed with us?
Yeah, I did. The magistrate
Continue.
agreed with the teachers.
No, that's what I'm saying. I definitely understand what you're saying. I'm saying that placed in a position like that myself, I would hope that I'd be able to look at the advice that I'm given. And if that, it's hard to make you can't say yes or no on something that you've never, like, I was not sitting in those shoes of those school board members at that time. I did not see the reports, the findings, or whatever. I'm just saying, when it comes time for me to do the same thing, I would hopefully make a decision based off of what is put in front of me. And so, if they're saying that, I can't remember exactly what you said.
Yes.
You said it had to do with the insurance, raising the insurance premiums. And, if they were saying that was not in, something that should be done at that time, I would have to make that decision then to look at it and say, okay, I agree with them as well. It's hard to have I'm trying to think of what the word it is for, but like a scenario that
So
there for
I would, this is something that I have had a couple of board members that have told me, and something that I've learned that I did not know whenever I was a lot younger. Do you think that the school district is always giving school board members full and complete information?
Can you say that again? You broke up a little bit. Do I think that the school district is giving?
Right, because the information that board members act on is either coming from the community or it's coming from the school district. Do you think that the information that the school district gives a school board member is always full and complete information?
I mean, I would hope so, but I don't see the information that's given to every school board member. I'd have to hope that the school district is giving school board members full and complete information. I mean, everything is public record that comes through our school district, so I don't see how they wouldn't be. But I don't know. I mean,
Can I jump in? Okay, I
You're
have a
breaking up.
question. Heather,
yes,
this is Felicia.
thank you.
I have a question. When there is a vote, any election, and the majority wins the vote, 2/3 to 1/3. However, the 1/3 is unhappy and they take their complaints to the school board, and then the school board votes against the majority vote for the 1/3. This actually happened to the ESPs this year. All I ask is that you do your homework before you vote on any issues that you are not familiar with in the budget.
Yes, ma'am, I plan to. Like I said, like I said, one of the biggest things I've already said was the budget is something that, does intimidate me some. But as an educator, I know the importance of studying and learning, and that is what I plan to do in order to make the best decisions that I feel I can make for our school district.
It wasn't even a budget issue. It was the majority won. How do you override the majority and have a conscience about it? Just because you can? I'm confused.
I think it kind of comes back to, do you see the school board's role as confirming what the district is doing, or as more of an oversight that steps in and makes changes to what the district and the superintendent are already doing?
I think that's a tough call. I don't think it works one way or the other, really. I think it sometimes works both ways. I think the school board is there to support where they need to support, but yes, I do feel like there are times when they do have to step in and say, this is not in the best interest of the school district, for whatever reason it may be. Like I said, I feel like a board, if done right, has people from various maybe walks of life or backgrounds to bring their expertise and help you make those decisions.
Okay, thank you. Amanda, can you ask the next question?
Sure. So Heather, it's Amanda. What's your plan to retain veteran ESPs and instructional personnel?
Yeah, so I think, obviously years ago, the steps were taken away, and that was very detrimental to, veteran teachers and support staff, to really make sure that your years of service have are recognized and whatnot. I don't know if that's something that would ever happen again, coming back to the district. But it definitely is something I think we need to figure out and make a plan for. Did I lose you?
No, you're still here. I think.
There she is. Can you hear us?
No, I think she just disappeared.
Hello?
There you are.
Okay, I'm sorry if I'm cutting out.
You were on create a plan.
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, being Friday at 6:45, my brain is starting to fry, I feel like. But I don't know if I definitely have a plan for something like that right now, but I want to work, like I said, being a former teacher myself, I have so many, friends that are still teachers in our district. And, when I told, people that I was running for school board, they were very excited about it because it's someone that, has walked the walk and talked the talk. And, so of course I want to do whatever I can to support our teachers and make sure that, not only do we have a competitive salary for new teachers, but that our teachers that have shown their loyalty to our district and continue to serve our district are compensated appropriately. But I don't know if I specifically have an exact plan for that yet, but it's something that I would like to work on in conjunction with, OCEA, our administrative team, things like that. So I'm sorry that I don't have a plan for you, but
That's okay. Don't worry. You don't have all the answers right this second. It's fine.
I do not have all the answers.
Okay, so the next question is, what are your feelings on book banning?
I am an avid book reader. My kids, I've hopefully instilled the love of reading in them. I don't see how we can ban books in our school district in a way that does any good for education. While are there inappropriate books in our schools? I don't know how you quantify what's appropriate and what's inappropriate, because something that's appropriate to me may not be appropriate to you, and vice versa. I think the system that the school district decided to put in place since all of this has come to fruition on giving parents a choice of saying what their child can and cannot read is kind of the only way we can do this without taking away something from someone else. That, especially, I think about it in this sense, like in a high school, you've got 18-year-olds, so like those are adults. You can't tell an adult they can't read something. Also, they can turn around and go to our public libraries, go to the store and buy a book. So I think giving that option to parents to say, my kid can read any book they want, my kid can read limited books, let me know if they're going to check out one of these, or my kid can't read any books, from our library, is the only way to do it, to hopefully make parents that feel like something is inappropriate, is not accessible by their children.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any other questions for her?
So I would just like, in your district, I think there's 3 candidates in her district that are running,
Yes.
and they're all new because Mr. Thacker, he's not going to run. He's been there for quite some time. What do you think sets you apart to make you a better candidate than one of the others?
I mean, I've stated it a few times on this call, but the fact that I am a educator from our district, I think sets me apart from both of them. I have, some people have said, oh, well, she's just part of the establishment, or she's been placed in this position. Nobody placed me here, I promise. I don't think if anyone's doing this because someone else tells them to do it, then they're crazy, because the number one question I get from a lot of people are you sure you still want to be doing this with how, politics is right now and the way things are going in our schools and at our school board meetings and things like that. It's definitely something that while there are times I go, what am I getting myself into? I also feel like if I weren't doing this, who else would do it that I feel has the same kind of passion and support for continuing creating a community, an education system in our community that will, benefit our future. Like I said, my kids go to school here. I went to school here. I believe in Osceola, and I believe that we can make this a really great school district. And the foundation of any great community, I feel like, is education. So I think the fact that I do have that background and that passion for education while not being in the classroom anymore, it's still a big part of me.
Okay, thank you so much. I just want to go back to the questionnaire that you sent us, and I have a question about the role of the superintendent. Can you tell me what you think it is again?
I honestly, after I filled out the questionnaire, I was like, man, there's no way to I didn't put my answers anywhere because I filled it out right in there. So I honestly don't know what I said in the questionnaire. I don't know if you're willing to read back to me what I put.
Oh,
but,
yeah, sure.
but I didn't keep that in here.
Not a problem. The role of the superintendent is a mighty one. I think we all know the duties of a superintendent, so I'm not going to go into detail there, but in addition to general outline duties, I think a superintendent needs to support her staff and create an environment where people feel valued and recognized in their jobs.
Yes. So what would you like me to provide?
Well, do you feel the superintendent is doing that? This superintendent, is she creating an environment where people feel valued and recognized?
I mean, I would say from things that I've seen in instances, I believe so. I can understand that not everyone may feel that way. I don't think there's any single person out there that can, make everyone happy. We live in a very divided time, and everybody has their own opinions on things. So I don't feel like I'm sure there are people that are not happy. I know there are people that are not happy. But in my experiences with the superintendent, for the most part, I feel like the people I know of and my working with her, yes, she is doing that to her best ability.
Okay, and when you were a teacher or in the district, were you an OCEA member?
I was not.
And could you tell me a little bit about why you were not?
I really didn't have any opinions one way or the other when it came to OCEA. I think when I first started teaching, I was fresh out of college, 22 years old, just doing whatever I thought I needed to do to get through my first years of teaching. I had kids, fairly shortly after that and things like that. So I honestly just, was doing my thing teaching and didn't really think, what the union could or could not do for me. So it's not that I had any strong opinions one way or the other.
So what do you think the union does? What do you think our job is?
Supporting union members, teachers that are part of the union in bargaining, in instances of I'm trying to think of what the word is, like I mean, I know if, if you're part of the union, you have that, not liability, but, if there were things to arise where you needed support as far as legal or whatnot, that the union is there to provide those services for you.
Well, the district can provide those services as well. And do you understand that the union does not bargain for the teacher salaries that are in the union, like paid members? We bargain for every teacher, whether they pay membership dues or not.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I know it's a collective whole, yes. I know it's not just certain teachers that would get, salary that you bargain for, yes.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions or follow up to that?
I think I would just follow up with, our mission is to educate, engage, and empower. Those are the three things that we really drive forward for teachers. And so obviously, if you were to be elected, you would see us a lot at school board meetings and corresponding with you, just making sure that we are educated on all of the issues, that you are staying educated on the issues, that we stay engaged in knowing what decisions are being made, and making sure that school board members are also engaged in that process, not just allowing the superintendent in the district to pass whatever they want, but really seeing that your role is to be that kind of checkpoint to make sure, the system has checks and balances, that we have a place for everyone to feel empowered, which is that last proponent that we really focus on, making sure everyone has their rights and knows their rights and feels like the district works for all of us.
Very
Love your
nice.
mission. That's great. Yeah, Emily, I've seen you many times at school board meetings talking on behalf of the OCEA. So, because I am there. Lately, it's been a little hit or miss because I was getting all my petitions in and doing things like that. But yes, I am in attendance as well.
Awesome.
Janet, were you going to ask something?
No, I'm good.
Okay, anybody else? Anything? No? Well, Heather, anything you want to add?
No, again, I'm sorry for any cutting in and out that may have happened. Also for some of my rambling that may have happened. Like I said, Friday at 6 p.m. and I didn't feel as prepared as I would have liked for this, but I definitely didn't want to miss the opportunity. So thank you for, while it was hard to get scheduled, getting me in during this time slot so that I didn't miss it. Just one more thing again. So this will be shared to your members directly. Is this going up on social media, anything like that? I just want to be aware of where this is put. I would prefer it not to be on social media, since I feel like I did at times ramble and stumble, type of thing. I understand your members wanting to hear and see this, but I guess just going back to that, of where
well,
it's intended.
I believe that the plan is to put it in on the website. On our website, which basically is the section where the members can get in. So
it's a members only. Is
yes.
What you're saying? Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with your I just, like I said, it's been a long day and
it's okay. People understand. I mean, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And nobody's gonna judge.
These were questions you did not get in advance, so we get that you would stumble through some of them.
Right.
And we're all human, and it is Friday. So
yes.
Don't worry. Okay, so Heather, we want to thank you for taking some time out. I know that you were doing an activity, so again, we understand, but we're so grateful that you were able to do this. If we decide on you, then great. If not, I hope you won't hold that against us. We
I have
will.
A question on that too, Jeff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just was wondering on that because qualifying isn't until June. So is this decision made after June when you see who actually qualifies?
Oh, yeah, we are still going to have to do a meet and greet so that people can actually, ask you themselves some other questions that they might have. And we'll let you
Okay.
know when that's gonna be, but it'll probably be like the end of June before we even decide. So,
Right. Yeah, no, of course. I was just making sure, just because since this part was taking place so early, since qualifying isn't until, that second week in June. I just didn't know what your, kind of what the timeline was for that, because since we still have to hit that to ensure that the 3